But we're just laying down some more primer on our new Warhammer 40,000/30,000 boards that we made.
Looking pretty good.
Yeah, we primed them black, and then we went in with this like shitty pebble textured crap, and it was like white. It didn't work. It didn't look good. So we tried painting with brown spray paint, only to find out that what looked like brown was actually red.
Red.
But I actually kind of liked how it came across after you painted brown on top of it. So I went in, I added more texture with very fine sand, then re-primed some of the areas black, and then also went in and re-primed some of the areas red. And then I just did a layer of Rust-Oleum textured brown on top of it. The texture on the textured paint isn't great.
Leave something to be desired.
I wouldn't really call it textured, I'd call it rough.
Because when we were looking at the texture paint, we were kind of thinking like this, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I ended up having to add sand, which, I mean, fine, whatever. It's not a big deal. It's not difficult, per se. It's annoying, but it's not difficult. It doesn't look as natural, but you don't want to cover the whole fucking thing in sand, because then buildings won't sit on it right. But yeah, so I just wanted to get like the Titan bits over there blocked out in gray for painting. It's going to be blue and yellow, Titan. And then the walls as well, done up a little bit more with the primer, and I put some sand on there to give the top a little bit more texture. The top was a little lacking. What else? Baneblade looks great.
The Baneblade, which looks like a Baneblade.
Yeah, it actually has the footprint of a Baneblade and everything, but
even though most of it is foam.
Underneath it's just a big block of foam that's roughly cut like a Baneblade. There's some Dust Tactics treads that are appropriately mucked up. So yeah, next step is going to be going in and painting all of the wooden boards by hand, which is gonna suck a lot, but it's got to get done. And then hitting the whole damn thing with dry brushing and sponging on the walls for the concrete, and then painting the Titan, painting the Baneblade, rusting up the Titan, rusting up the Baneblade, and then sealing it
To death. Sealing it to death.
like just sealing the shit out of it. We're gonna need like 4 cans of that.
Yeah, I was just gonna eat some lacquer and then poop on it.
That also could work. And then going back in and doing mud in the trenches, which is a real simple combination of white glue, gloss coat, brown ink, sand, and fall foliage leaves. You make a big bucket of that up, and then you just literally smear it in the trenches, and it ends up ending up like shiny, glossy mud. Looks great. Then we're going to put some wet, mucked up, nasty water, wet effects around in the various craters. Some of them represent that they're old, some of them won't have it, represent that they're fairly new. And then the rust effects and stuff, I mean, that's just going to be like probably weathering powder and like GW rust effect paint and like metallic oxide, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And the boards should be done. The best part about these boards is that we can actually really expand them. We have a bunch more 2x2 or 2x4 sections in there, so we can create another no man's land to go between the wall sections and the trenches. We can create more concrete for like more city stuff, and we can just expand out from there. The best part is these make great infinity tables because they're so open.
Yeah, no, and in Infinity, what you want is
a lot of open spots. You want anti-vantage points, sniper nests. You want it all open.
You can't play the game if you don't have open areas for AROs.
Exactly. It's the whole point is it's always your turn, so you should always be able to get an arrow off with all of your models at all times.
Yeah, but so I know after talking to Aaron already that what he's hoping is to be able to do a little bit of Siege of Vraks.
Yeah, Siege of Vraks. Also Armageddon, which is a popular thing, happens about once a month here. Not to be confused with Apocalypse, that's the style of gameplay. Armageddon is where Aaron brings out his Imperial Guard, Steve brings out his
Orcs.
and then they just push models at each other and roll buckets of dice, and a lot of fun's had.
So 40K.
Yeah, I mean, it's 40K without formations.
That's right. Formations are a thing.
Yeah, you're gonna need to know that now that you have Gene Bolt.
Now that I have Gene Stealer Cultist.
I might actually end up having to buy a 40K Codex, which I haven't done since they announced 7th edition.
That knight's gonna look really good.
I certainly hope so. I don't know, we'll see. I might just fuck it up. I thought about just painting the Baneblade, just literally just covering it in pig iron and then just rusting the shit out of it until it was basically just a giant ball of orange.
Yeah.
And then I figured that it would be more fun to actually like go in and weather it, like paint it like a normal tank and then weather it like I normally do for my 40K tanks.
Yeah, a little bit of variety.
Yeah, I mean, it's just nice. The boards are fairly simple. They're kind of austere, actually. A lot of times I see boards online on like battle report videos, and they just got all kinds of fucking shit built into them, and it's like, great, you could use it for one thing. Just buy a goddamn Realm of Battle board at that point.
Yeah.
The new Aegis Sigmar specific one. Skulls.
Yeah.
It's fucking everywhere.
Skulls.
It's like, let's play Warmachine on our skull table. Malifaux goes great on a table of skulls.
Wow, what's
Guild
Exodus? Guild Ball.
Guild Ball, actually,
Yeah.
Guild Ball could work, I guess,
Yeah.
if you like the Morticians. But yeah, I mean, this is a fun project. It literally was like, Aaron wanted to do it, and
Just kind of spur of the
I
moment.
was hungover, so we did it. That's it. It doesn't get much more simple than that. Right now, I'm just kind of getting the edges with this black. It's not meant to be any sort of like long-term
Yeah.
fix. It's just, I don't like seeing the pink. It's distracting, and yeah, just like when you paint your models, having a black ring around the edge makes them look finished, even when they're not.
Yeah.
And even though these are sitting in recessed areas for our tables, it's just a nice little thing to do.
Yeah.
It helps if you aren't retarded and have a steady hand, which apparently I don't, but whatever, it works. Yeah, pink foam is really easy to work with. However, I found that the options for hot knives are great, especially when you're trying to dig out trenches. We ended up using a chef's knife.
Yeah. Which worked pretty good.
Which worked really well, actually.
I mean, the trench, you know, I would like to see some expansion on the on these trench networks because that's looking pretty good.
Yeah, they're just real simple popsicle sticks and then a slurry of Elmer's glue and sand to make up the trench themselves, and then
Little Lisa slurry.
yeah, and then other than that, I mean, we just called it a day. We're gonna have to hand paint the planks, which is gonna blow, but we get enough chuckleheads on it, and we'll get done in a day.
Well, I mean, we could bring in a few airbrushes and we can.
No, it'd just be so much easier to just paint these by hand.
All right.
The problem with an airbrush is that it's going to get all the surrounding areas, and since we're painting the planks with like a earth tone,
Yeah.
look more like dead wood. We don't want the sand around them to get that same color.
That's true.
Sand around it needs to be dark and dirty to make the planks stand out.
Yeah.
And yeah, like all the little touches that are important in this are things like painting the boards individually and then going in and mucking them up. And it's something I pointed out in our last painting competition. That's a really important aspect of a paint job is to make sure you finish the model before you fuck with it. If you just start painting like camouflage or wet effects, weathering powders, aging, rusting, glowing before you finish the model, it's going to look like crap. It's just the way it is. Because in real life, you don't half paint a tank, drive it through the shit, and finish painting it afterwards.
Unless you're Germans.
Even then. Even then.
Okay.
So, anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little impromptu hobby tidbit from Santa Barbara Wargaming. And,
Yeah, we'll come back to this after we put a little bit more work on them.
I expect these to be probably done, I want to say conservatively by next Saturday. But who knows? If Aaron and I have our druthers this week, and the fact that my bits order from eBay is in the wind, so I can't build the rest of my Sylvaneth, we'll probably have this done by this Saturday, in all likelihood. Although hockey does start this week, so who knows. Anyway, for everyone here at Santa Barbara Wargaming, may you paint well.
May you paint well. Excellent.
Try to be more positive.
Yeah.